First to Home Park, where a crowd of more than 12,000 packed in to see the second division leaders Plymouth Argyle. Despite going goal crazy in recent weeks, Paul Sturrock's side knew they were in for a really tough game against Blackpool. And the commentary comes from Martin Dean.
Well, today's team selection was probably one of the easier decisions since Paul Sturrock took charge at Home Park. There was a slight doubt about Mickey Evans, who was showing signs of a heavy cold yesterday, but he's been past fit to take his place in an unchanged Argyle lineup. Much expectation amongst a huge crowd here at Home Park. Argyle will be keen to show that they can impress when the house is near full. Now, what are the odds on a goalless draw? Well, they haven't quite managed to match Argyle's prolific form in front of goal, but Blackpool have been in free-scoring form themselves. They've found the net 10 times in the last 4 games, but manager Steve McMahon has opted for a slightly more defensive-looking lineup this afternoon. John Murphy will operate as a lone striker up front. Scott Taylor, who's got 11 goals this season, is only on the bench. Argyle will certainly be brim-full of confidence at this point. Difficulty is to guard against overconfidence, of course. Gilbert getting it inside. Evans finding his path blocked. David Frio. He's the man to watch. Scored that screamer at Port Vale last Saturday. Another couple in midweek. Here he is again, David Frio. Well, he's been in such prolific form. Responsible for 5 of those 18 Argyle goals in the last 4 games, David Frio. 2 last Saturday, 2 on Wednesday night. Almost got another one there. Frio forward for Evans, little touch off for Norris. Now Stonebridge, room for him to turn. Going to try the early effort. Well, it seemed a little ambitious, but wasn't too far away in the end from Ian Stonebridge. Just saw a little gap opening up. Fly and missing the target by a yard or so in the end. Just playing it in behind David Frio then. Held in towards Evans, he's got the touch on towards Marino Keith. Oh, that should have been the first goal. Well, that was a glorious opening. Michael Evans setting it all up with that delicate little flick on into the path of Marino Keith. He really should have buried that one. Watton in towards Evans. Little touch off for Adams. Now Frio. Doesn't give any space at all though by Southern. Cocker. Back for Gilbert. Harrying as much as they possibly can. They deny Argyle any sort of space on the ball apart from deep in their own half. Something that Steve McMahon has clearly been working on. Proving effective so far. Norris. A little 1-2 with Marino Keith. This is David Norris looking to pull the trigger. Now Stonebridge. Well, Blackpool was split open then. And Argyle had the opportunity to open their account for the afternoon. It was David Norris who made the initial run. His effort was blocked, but it fell for Ian Stonebridge, who will perhaps be just a little disappointed not to have put that one away. Watton driving it in towards the near post. It's gone right across the line. Now, did that cross over? David Frio seemed to think it did. The referee is adamant that it didn't. Watton's corner played in towards the near post. I think it was Ian Stonebridge who got the touch. Or did that cross the line? Well, the referee says no. Watton again with the corner towards Coughlin. Couldn't quite get on the end of it. Now Barnes with the fist away. Gilbert getting the return ball from Paul Watton. Still plenty of men forward for Argyle. Aimed in towards Graham Coughlin. Now Stonebridge. Another opportunity for Ian Stonebridge. Perhaps not quite as much power behind that one as he would have liked. And Phil Barnes right behind it this time. Gilbert and Stonebridge combining well. Freo leaving it for Marino Keith. I think he fooled Keith as well then. Good challenge from Steve Adams. This is Danny Coyd. Murphy up ahead of him. Dan's also making a run. That's the first real effort we've seen from Blackpool so far. Danny Coyd just going on the inside run. Had a couple of options, but went for the shot. It really looked as if it was going to seriously trouble McCormack, though. And decent distance on the clearance. Evans got a nudge, spotted by the referee. Just as he was about to jump, little nudge in the back from Chris Clark. Morton then looking to float this one in. Coughlin on the far side. Marino Keith! And there it is. Well, we've had to wait 41 minutes for Argyle to get the breakthrough. And it's come from Marino Keith. His 6th goal of the season. And it was probably the simplest he'll have. Paul Watton floating the free kick in. Eventually broke for Graham Coughlin on the far side. His header back across the face of goal. And Marino Keith jumping high just to tuck it away. Freo for Keith. Little touch back for Worrell. Now Evans. Worrell brought down. The flag was up before that, in fact. Similar spot to the one which brought the goal just a couple of minutes ago. You see the same format here. Well, Watton has slipped as he tries to play it in. Graham Coughlin. Oh, he could have had a second. Well, he's generally there for the little nod-ins on the line, Graham Coughlin. Probably not quite expecting to have to pull it down and then pull the trigger, but put himself into a decent position. Finish to the first half. Leo turned well. Worrell looking to float it in towards Marino Keith. Steve Davis getting up above him. Stonebridge brought it down well, looking to curl one. Well, Ian Stonebridge has only found the net a couple of times so far this season. He always looks quite sharp and always with an eye for goal. Just curling that one wide of the post, though. Just becoming a little frustrated. One or two poor passes from Argyle. Just a lapse in concentration. And that was going to be a booking, I think. And it's going to be a red card, a second yellow. And he's off. It was a late challenge on David Freo. And Jonathan Douglas gets his marching orders. Well, I don't think the referee really had much choice then. Watton moving it wide for David Worrell, just struggling to keep it in on the far side. Managed to do that. Coughlin with the long ball in towards Marino Keith, brought it down well. Chance to get the shot in here off the post. Well, that would have been a super goal from Marino Keith then. Great skill from the Scot. It was Glenn Coughlin's long ball. Keith brought it down beautifully, took the defender out of the equation altogether. And the shot beating Phil Barnes, coming back off the upright. Former manager Neil Warnock among those watching this afternoon. He'll have been impressed, I'm sure. Rio finding Jason Bent. Space for him to turn. Evans away to his right. Nathan Lowndes has made a run into the middle. Stonebridge also arriving. Oh, that came off the top of the crossbar in the end. Oh, almost a spectacular own goal then. Evans's cross glancing off the head of Steve Davis. Scored a few goals in his time, but not quite sure how many in his own net. And that off for Blackpool. Wellens wide for Grayson. Bullock up just ahead of him. Now Taylor. Bullock again. Grayson coming up on the overlap. 3 men in the middle. Almost squeezed through to them. Coughlin eventually just getting it half away. Neil Downs. Shot took a deflection. And we'll call that probably for the first time this afternoon, really having to scramble for it. Well, they haven't provided too many threats, Blackpool, but they've got Argyle just a goal in front at the moment. They have to guard against any sort of complacency. Evans battling for it, and doing well to win the header this time. Jason Bent in for the long-range effort. Well, it's been a slightly disappointing second half, I suppose, particularly by the high standards that Argyle have set in the last few games. Not really as many opportunities created as they would have liked.
I think the win was important. I think too many times we've come here with a big support and let them down as far as the result is concerned. And you know, Blackpool made it very difficult with the system of play that they adopted today. So it was always going to be a tight game. There's never going to be that free-flowing kind in football. And I definitely think both teams look very weary as the second half unfolded. I'm just glad that we've come out with 3 points.
A vital 3 points for Argyle then, taking them clear at the top. 3 points the cushion now to South Coast rivals Brighton and Bournemouth.